Good morning. My name is Jordan Clements Fitz. I am the Northern Nevada Sports and Schools Manager for Special Olympics Nevada. And with me today, I have Tammy Nichols and Taylor Trowbridge. They are special education teachers over at Reed High School. And we're here to talk to you about a program that we started at Reed and we're kind of growing throughout the school district. So, what is our school's partnership program? It's a partnership with Special Olympics Nevada. It's a K through 12 education program that focuses on building campuses of inclusions at your school to kind of bridge the gap between the special education students and their general education peers. So how this program came about. It's no secret that bullying is a huge epidemic in our schools. 1 in 3 students ages 12 through 13 have reported being bullied. And when you look at that statistic, students with disabilities are actually 2 to 3 times more likely to be bullied than their typically developing peers. And then students with intellectual disabilities are actually less likely than students with any other kind of disability to experience less time in a general education setting. So we still are seeing a lot of those self-contained classrooms, and we're not getting as much of the inclusion as we would like to see in certain areas. Oops. And then a recent youth survey conducted with Special Olympics International shows that less than 30% of students indicate that they would even feel comfortable speaking to a peer with an intellectual disability. So there's a lot of need still to bridge those gaps. So how does our program work? It's a partnership between your school and Special Olympics Nevada that works to build these inclusive campuses through 3 different topics that I'm going to talk about on the next slide. The area manager, which would be me for Northern Nevada, would work with whatever coordinator at your school to provide these services to your students. So our main component is the unified sports component. And what that does is partners general education students with special education peers on the same sports teams. Now that's not the varsity or JV team. We're not looking to pull kids from those existing programs. These are completely separate. And we're really targeting the kids who may not feel comfortable going out for the general sports teams and still want to get involved in their schools. This looks a lot different in each school, so it's really flexible as to what your school wants to offer. Our main 3 sports are soccer, track and field, and basketball, but we also have programs that want to do other unified rec. So Reed is going to talk about how they're going to be piloting unified cheer this year, and then O'Brien Middle School has approached me about doing unified softball. So it's really open to whatever works for your students and your campus. Practices look different at every school and wherever we can plug it in. So again, it's really what works for you guys, and we're not trying to make this harder on you. Our second component is inclusive youth leadership. We want this program to be as student-run as possible. And I know across different age levels that's going to look a little different. At Reed, they're going to speak about their student impact, which is going to be a lot greater in a high school than in an elementary school. Elementary school teachers might have to take on a little bit more of the load, but it's still absolutely manageable. We do the inclusive youth leadership through partnering with Best Buddies clubs, if your school has one, or any kind of other inclusion club, key club, any club on your campus or group that wants to take this on and become unified partners, we're willing to work with. Our third component is our school community awareness, or we more commonly refer to it as whole school involvement. And this is getting all of the other students on your campus involved, not just the ones who are participating in the actual sport. And we do this through a variety of ways. Fans in the stands is the easiest one, getting your kids to come out and watch the game that's going on, hosting a rally before the game. The R Word campaign is another really common one that's easy to do for schools. And really the possibilities are endless. Whatever your schools and your kids want to do, we can make it happen. So once you reach all 3 of these components, your school becomes what we call a unified champion school. And what that does is give you national recognition through Special Olympics North America as a unified champion school. You'll receive a banner that comes with annual stickers for each year that you meet all 3 of these components. And then there is grant money from Special Olympics North America to help offset the program startup costs. So the next steps is if you guys already have these programs going on in your school or something that we could plug into, let us know. This is, like I said, this isn't something that we want to add to your plate. We want to plug into programs you already have going on and use this as a vessel to get you this program. Marvin Piccolo and Huffaker Elementary are a great example of this. They bring over students from Huffaker every week to participate in PE at Piccolo, and we just kind of helped give them a couple different activities in addition to what they were doing. We did a basketball skills day and a track meet, and we're looking to do the same things again this year, and that's a program that they already had established. So again, if you guys have these programs or have these buddy clubs that are looking for something to do, please let us know. I'm going to turn it over to Tammy and Taylor to talk about the READ program and how they got started and have grown it since their first year.
Great. Okay, thank you. So at READ, we're both special ed teachers, and so we have chosen to meet with Jordan and our gen ed student, Tia Henderson, who I presented with us yesterday, wasn't able to make it today. But the 4 plus her mom, so there's 5 of us, we meet once a week because we need that time. The first year we introduced the basketball game, and it was after school, and the turnout was good. It wasn't great, but the impact was huge. So we decided with our administration to bring this to the entire school population. So we partnered with the admin, and we were able to do an assembly week and do an assembly. And the assemblies at the high school level are 40 minutes. So that's why we meet regularly, because that's 40 minutes of management that we have to be responsible for. So we run the game both times as if it was a true basketball game. Our OTC presented their colors. The students, a couple of our SPED students sang the national anthem. And then we had banners from leadership. The band came out and played as if it was a game, and it was a game. I mean, it was wholeheartedly a full-fledged game. And the cheerleaders came out and made tunnels for the students to run out to, and everybody cheered. You see a screenshot now. You're going to see a great video in a few minutes. This young man, Brandon, he is amazing. He does granny shots every time he shoots the basket, but he makes more 3 shots than I can when I'm playing horse with my kids. So it's amazing. So not a lot of people showed up when it was after school, and we ran into some transportation issues with our kiddos. So we chose to do everything during the school day, and our admin partnered, and it wasn't an issue with transportation, but this year we're going to add transportation because we're going to play Sparks. And so we're excited. They must have been intimidated because they left. But there's some there. Yes, we're excited. So we're going to play Sparks. And Sparks, one of the pictures in the clip, Sparks played North Valleys last year, and it was really fun to go and watch that. And they had a good turnout during their game as well. And so we do an assembly week, we do activities during the week, and then we do fundraiser for the polar plunge, and we're also setting up a scholarship for our gen ed student so that when she graduates, she has a scholarship for all the work that she has put in the last 4 years. So her vision, and we support her vision, was to introduce a sport every year. So she introduced basketball the first year, last year was track, and this year we're adding cheerleaders to our assembly and our basketball games, which is going to be really exciting. And then next year is her last year, but we're going to continue her legacy by adding soccer. So it'll be busy, but it's manageable. We're just going to show you the video. So this is our first year, and you can see the stands are not, well, you can't really see, sorry, but the stands are not very full. But the next year is amazing. Where's the video?
I started with Special Olympics 4 years ago, and being a high school student, I really saw the disconnect between the special education students and our general education. And I knew that we needed something to bridge the gap between those two groups. So I started with unified sports, and that has allowed so much acceptance, so much flourishing with our general education students and our special ed students, and that's truly why I started this.
I found that it's actually way easier than I thought to just be friends with them and have a normal conversation with them. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that you can't really get to know them, but you can, and you can have those real conversations with them.
Well, I believe everyone that has an intellectual disability should be treated the same exact way as any other student in the school.
3.
You made a 3-pointer.
3 points.
And the crowd went.
Clap me.
Yes, they cheered at you.
Yep.
Was that your favorite part?
Yes.
Yes.
Our first year starting with unified sports, we actually did a unified basketball game that paired up our general education students with our special education students and allowed them to play against each other at Reed High School in a competitive atmosphere and play a basketball game like our normal education students could usually do. After that, we added track. So the next year we did both a basketball game, we did it at an assembly at our high school, and we also had a unified track meet that included all of our track athletes from our track team as well as our special education students. This year we are working on adding cheer so that we have cheerleaders at our basketball game, and next year we're looking forward to adding soccer as well.
Some new friends. I mean, we talk and we hang out, or we get ready to play on the court, and we always talk, or we shoot the baskets, and it's the best thing ever to have friends for some teammates.
Yeah, I think as long as you're accepting and you're ready to have fun and you're not gonna judge people just for their differences, then I think anyone can do it, because it's just hanging out and being a friend.
Any student can do it as long as they have an open mind. They're willing to work with the students, use people first language, and just given that time at lunch and the games. That's all you really need.
My grandmother worked with people with disabilities, and she really inspired me to start working with a specific group of people. And when she passed away, I knew that it was my job to continue on her legacy and do what she did. So I became involved in Special Olympics and in so many other organizations that work with people with disabilities, and I just fell in love with it.
I like hanging out with the teammates.
Well, a lot of them, you have to explain it to them what it is, and if you're oh, that basketball game we did last year, I was in unified sports during that, they get really excited. They think, wow, that game was super cool. It really brought the whole school together.
That's a half by.
I think I've always just kind of thought that we're all gonna have our differences, and we're not all gonna be having typical, we're not all going to be alike in every way, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that anyone is not as smart or social. It doesn't mean that you're less than anyone else. So I think that it has changed just how I view people, but I think also that's already been there.
It's making school for me lots of fun, and I love it.
So those were some of our athletes and our partners, and those it's really been inspirational when we had these events. It just brings tears to your eyes for being a part of it. Staff really they teared up as well, and then the students would applaud the players when they came into their gen ed classes, and so that was really a cool experience for them to feel important, and they would cheer MVP during the game and just really got behind them. We did have a couple students, and they practiced with us, and then they got out there and they got stage fright, and they were like, I am not going out there. They thought that everybody would laugh at them, but then when everybody started cheering for them, they said, please put me in. And I said, okay, there you go. So really, we say we meet once a week just because the first year, was great. It was a pilot. The second year, we met the criteria to become a champion school by going all in, and we did so much around the school involvement. So we meet just once a week at lunch, and then our game is really easy. It sounds like it's short, but they are running and almost dying sometimes. So we made the 4-minute halves. What is that, 2-minute plays? Okay, so we have 4-minute halves. No, we have 4-minute quarters is really what it should say. And so we have a first half and a second half. And then the dance team comes out and participates as well, and they do the halftime. And then we have like 1 or 2 gen ed students, like some of the ladies that you saw in the video, they usually are our coaches. And so they come out and they're facilitating the game while the kiddos are all playing. And we come out, we practice for 20 minutes at the end of our lunch period. And so the gen ed students come and we meet in the small gym, and it's just 20 minutes. And we do it for about a month before the event, a month and a half, and it's only twice a week. So it's really not a lot. And I manage one of the practices, and then Taylor manages the other practice. And so we do the same thing. So we're planning now for our basketball game, and then we'll start after basketball, we go right into track. And then right after track, we'll go right into soccer, because we're going to be bringing soccer in. So we have a lot to do, and but we love it. And it just really warms our hearts, and that's why we do it.
In conclusion, we really would like to bring unified sports to more schools in our district. We'd love to play more schools in basketball this year. We do have the game in progress getting set up at Sparks, but we'd like to invite other schools in the district so we can play against them. And just bringing this to your school, because the kids feel like champions. And I always get choked up when I talk about it. But this year on December 1st, we're going to have our assembly. And if you guys would like to come and see how it works, it's amazing. For the assembly, we do Reed versus Raiders. And that's how we get the whole school involved. And we're hoping our other games will be at lunchtime. So at whatever school we decide to go to. We also will have track March 1st. We really just want to say it seems like a lot of work, but really it's totally worth the time. We meet once a week because we both have special programs, so we need to meet once a week to keep on track. Our contact information is on the board. We encourage you to ask questions. We encourage you to talk to us, and we can tell you just how amazing this program is. It's made a complete difference at Reed High School, and we can help you get started. So, thank you.